31 seconds, and we're gone for auto sequence start.
It's a culture thing.
Sasukal ji, and welcome to UK Bhangra Culture with me, Sukhi, Bart, and you're watching Brit Asia TV. Here's what's coming up in the show today. So please welcome Taz from Stereo Nation.
Sasukal.
You're excited just as I am as well, because the guest I've got is one of the international guests that we definitely have had on our show. But before that, a couple of hellos, a couple of thank yous to people who've taken the time out to get in touch with us. So thank you very much to Sharon Johal. Thank you very much for your lovely comments. And you said, I mentioned your dad's name and he almost fell off the settee. So I hope he didn't fall off the settee and didn't hurt himself anything, because I know he's a teetotal, so it couldn't have been from alcohol. Sukhi Putto Saab. Sukhi Putto Saab, toda bahut bahut dhanwad. You said you really enjoyed last week's translations. Ponche tang rakhe paake salwar de and sas kutni. You said it was really funny and it made you laugh and you really enjoyed it. So thank you very much for that. Kiranjit Kaur, little sister, big sister, whatever you are, toda bahut bahut dhanwad. Bade pyar pare mohabbat pare alfaz de naal tusi is program di sift kiti. Thank you very much. So very kind of you. Bukshinder Kaur, you said it was really sad about Romy Gill passing away. Unfortunately, it is true, and last week we did do a special dedication to Romy Gill, a great loss to the Punjabi industry, and he was a great man as well. Just a shame that we couldn't sort of get him here and have a few words with him, so it is a shame. Budh Singh, kya baat hai Budh Singh ji. मैं क्या कहूँ यार, तू इतनी सोनी शायरी लिखी है मेरे Facebook पे. I want to share it with the audience. I might do it after this, or I might stick it in somewhere inside our interview. But first, we're going to check out the video. Here it is.
ਸਾਡੇ ਦਿਲ ਨੂੰ ਹਿਲਾ ਦੇਵੇ ਤੇਰੀ ਅੱਖੀਆਂ 'ਚ ਚਮਕ ਪਵੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਦਿਲ ਨੂੰ ਹਿਲਾ ਦੇਵੇ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਸੱਚਾ ਇੱਕ ਮੰਡ ਨਸ਼ਾ ਆਇਆ ਅੰਗੇ ਅੰਗੇ ਉੱਤੋਂ ਮੁਕੜੇ ਦੇ ਸੰਗ ਦਾ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੇਰਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਸੂਰ 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 ਮੋਰ ਨੱਚਦਾ ਰੋਬ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਗਿੱਧੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੋਰ ਨੱਚਦਾ ਖੱਬੀ ਅੱਖ ਤੇਲੇ ਦਿਲ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਰੇ ਝਿਲ ਮਿਲ ਆਏ ਮੁੰਡਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਦਿਲ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਚੂ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੇਰਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਸੂਰ 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 चुम चुम के वंगा दी विषण कार करनी पैंदी बार बार तके बिना ना करा रहे हजूर एदे विच तेरा नहीं कसूर एदे विच तेरा नहीं कसूर एदे विच तेरा नहीं कसूर एदे विच तेरा नहीं कसूर
Okay, let's check out the Hot 10. Here's from 10 to 6. Okay, now this part of the show, of course, it's really exciting for me because, like I said, my next guest is truly an international star, born and brought up in the UK. When he first came on the scene, I must put my hand up and say I wasn't a big fan of his, but as he's grown on me, and he definitely has grown on the world of music. I can't really say he's a Bhangra singer, but let's meet Taz and ask him himself. What does he think about it? So please welcome Taz from Stereo Nation.
Sat Sri Akal.
Bhai ji, Sat Sri Akal. Ki haal chal hai tohada?
First class.
You're looking wonderful.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I described you as a you know, Bhangra. But I don't think you are actually a Bhangra star. Do you see yourself as a Punjabi Bhangra star?
I think a lot of people sort of tag me as from Bollywood more so than anything else. Yeah. So I mean, you know, whatever they want to say, you know, it's all good.
It's all good, yeah.
It's all good.
Okay, even when I said, you know, when you first came, when you first hit the scene as Johnny Z. Okay, take us back to that time of Johnny Z. I think, if anything, it was maybe it was me. Maybe I was behind the time, and you was sort of maybe a bit ahead of the time.
Yeah.
When you came with Aaj Main Nachna, Sonia Sajna, a huge track of that time as well. I was talking to Apna Bhajan, and he was saying bad. You know, he obviously understood it, but there's people that possibly didn't kind of give you the credit then that you deserved.
I think you know, it's for me, it was the track that was called Hunta Minachina, and musically, I think, I mean, you know, I pioneered, brought some elements, something together, some magic that happened in the studio, and I think that, you know, basically it was the East meets West, musically and linguistically. So it was, you know, it was let's say koi khichdi sigi ya to masala siga. We created something that nobody had heard.
Yeah.
So it was very ahead of its time.
Yeah.
And Paramatma Niya Mera, basically the album was literally an overnight success, and I was very overwhelmed with the response. And it really did change the face of music industry for you know, for Asians worldwide, because it came with something fresh, something new. And then, well, I mean, if you look at music today, everybody's emulating what I've done 20 years ago.
So obviously you brought that to us.
Yeah.
Johnny Z.
Yes.
Where did that come from?
Well, Johnny was a nickname of mine from school.
Ah, okay.
And when we made the album, it was called Hit the Deck back in 1989. I didn't have a stage name, so you know, it was sort of sitting around saying, well, hang on a minute, you need a name, you know, what we're going to call you. So I remember my very first band when I was at school. We used to have a school band, and that was called Zigzag, would you believe? So we were knocking about with some ideas and jotting down, as you do, trying to find a name. And Johnny was the nickname, and every time the studio used to hate the fact that, you know, the Zigzag, who the bloody hell is Zigzag? So they used to put down in the diary, oh, Z-phoned. So we just connected the two together.
And that's where the name came from.
That's where the name came from.
I mean, taking you back to that time again, and did you have a bit of an attitude then? But, you know, you came in, and I remember reading somewhere that you felt that, you know, all these pot-belly Bhangra singers were kind of like, not ruined the scene, but, you know, they were kind of dominating the scene.
Not at all.
And you wanted to come in with something different.
No, not at all. I've never had an attitude. I think people, you know, put it this way, if you are content and happy in yourself with what you're doing, I think you don't need to have an attitude. And especially, I mean, the first and foremost thing is, you know, all my peers, as you say, you know, who are out there, Jenny singing from Alap, you know, and you know, from Bring Me to everybody, you know, they were all out there, and I used to look up to them, you know, when I was little, you know, and look up to them, admire them, and you know, it'd be inspired by them. So I didn't really ever have an attitude, and I kind of, if anything, I was very, always very much on the edge in the sense of, oh God, I've got to better what I've already done. I've got to, you know, make it consistent. And I always said to myself, well, you know what I'm doing is, I'm the only person that's doing it. So I've got no reason to even believe there's any competition out there.
Yeah.
And you know, if you want to achieve something and make a success in your life, then you've got to have absolute conviction.
Yeah. I mean, where did the Lagan of music start? Because obviously, you know, in this show we like to kind of delve into the journey of an artist, because you know, Taz from Stereo Nation isn't made overnight.
No, of course not.
You know, the international star that you are. So where did it all start from? Was it mom, dad? You know, who did you first hear? And
well, when I was, I mean, there's no musical history in our family.
Oh, okay.
We're all basically the family's a business-orientated family. From a very early age of about 6, my dad basically used to spend sort of 6 to 8 months here in the UK and go back home to India, so, you know, for at least 3 or 4 months, whatever. So every time he used to go, I used to say, Dad, you know, menu tabla leke aayi, ya main tolki leke aayi, ya mainu, you know, get me some shane or something, some instrument.
Yeah.
And they used to look at me thinking, this kid's mad, you know. In the house, basically, ਸਾਡਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇੱਕ ਅਸੂਲ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ, ਅਸੀਂ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਸੀ. That was a very strict rule in our house, because you know, my parents were strict in the sense that ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮਾਂ ਭਾਸ਼ਾ ਆਉਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਕਲਚਰ ਬਾਰੇ ਪਤਾ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ. ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਦਰਵਾਜ਼ੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਬੋਲਣੀ ਹੈ. ਘਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਮ ਸੇ ਕਮ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਬੋਲੋ. So it was very good that way. And ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ folk music ਸੁਣਦੇ ਸੀ, like from Nusrat Saab, Shaukat Ali Saab, basically all the classical singers, and Muhammad Rafi Saab, and you know, you can go on, Gurdas Ji and everything.
Yeah.
Cut long story short, that had a big impact on me, you know, because when I used to attend weddings back in them days, I used to be the first one on the dance floor. So it was just a passion that just grew and grew and grew, and next minute, you know, I got discovered by a very famous guy from the Specials, Neville Staples. He was my first manager.
Right.
He was the one who actually discovered me and took me into the studio, and we did the first album.
Wow, that's absolutely brilliant. I'm in conversation with Taz from Stereo Nation. Obviously, we talked about him being Johnny Z. After the break, we're going to find out how did he come back to being Taz that he is today. So we'll see you after this break.